Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to my space. Well, I'm sorry, this isn't a space. This is actually my live. Look, I'm so nervous. Let me get this out the way.
Call you Mrs. Mike. You can be my queen. Run like a little baby, you the girl of my dreams. I need you right here, real close to me. I can be a whole body, no more running the streets. No more Kims and Keishas, no more Ketas and Tishas. Call you my thug missus, you like Tims and T-shirts. Go harder than some of my niggas do. Ever shoot all on the block, you pulling triggers too. Late night at the spot and I'm missing you. Wishing you was here so I could be kissing you. Licking you, showing you what the dick can do. When you not around and look on my face is pitiful. Couldn't let you pass me by, so I got it to you. Not a race of the game, I let that got me through. If I got a whips and chains, seat on the plane, and like T-Pain, nigga, she got it to sing. One more chance to hear you just say yes. Cause I'm around you, I promise I won't let go. I would love telling you I know nobody ain't gon' know your body like I know your body. I'ma make it special a night you'll never forget. One more chance to hear you just say yes. Cause I'm around you, I promise I won't let go. I would love telling you I know nobody ain't gon' know your body like I know your body. I'ma make it special a night you'll never forget.
That was called "Say Yes" by Aaron Dollars featuring Mike. That's my bop right now. Definitely jamming in the car and anywhere I can. So I hope y'all appreciated that because it helped me get the nerves out. This is my first live stream, like on my own, doing this from this side of things. So thank y'all for being here. And thank you, really, all the real people out there, the people who hear me and said that they want to hear more. I said yes, right? So here we are. And it's a happy Friday. It's a good Friday, isn't it? And on this Good Friday, I wanted to bring you the news. So let me not belabor the point or the issue. or the night. Let's get there. NPR. The next U.S. Census will have new boxes for Middle Eastern or North African, quote, Latino. This article was updated last night at 8:32, and let's check it out. On the next U.S. Census and future federal government forms, the list of checkboxes for a person's race and ethnicity is officially getting longer. Yay! I'm gonna get a soundboard and add an applause track, so bear with me. But yeah, congratulations, you guys. We did it, right? Last year, all of us, we were at the OMB and pulled up to these Zoom meetings and in person, and we had something to say. Well, the Biden administration approved proposals for a new response option for Middle Eastern or North African, also for Hispanic or Latino. And there's a new reformatted question that asks, what is your race and or ethnicity? Going forward, participants in the surveys will be presented with at least 7 different racial and or ethnicity categories, along with instructions that say select all that apply. From there, you get a write-in response. You've got American Indian or Alaskan Native, Asian, Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Middle Eastern or North African, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, or white. You know, a lot of these North Africans had issues with the fact that they can't claim white anymore. They wanted something else. They wanted to be able to identify as something else. And you know, the blacks wanted to be able to identify as something else too. Well, actually, we just kind of wanted to be who we've always been. And we wanted other people to be able to identify themselves the same way they've always been identifying themselves. But no. In 2024, we've got a lot of people who really want to blend in. They want to be in the mix. They want to be us. In the Black or African American section, you've got African American, Nigerian, Jamaican, Ethiopian, Haitian, Somali, and then you can enter your own example. For example, Trinidadian, Ghanaian, Congolese, or etc. And I find that troubling because I heard you guys, and I know they heard us too. And we were very specific. And if you take all of the bullshit aside, because obviously everybody didn't necessarily need a mic, but for the people who grabbed a mic, salute to you because you had the courage to go out there and speak your speech. Now, I don't know if it was super impactful in the way that we needed it to be impactful, but it did count. And I think that matters, at least in a time where people are having a hard time speaking up. Now, the nuances inside of that. Black people in America, Native Blacks, Foundational Black Americans, Negro, Freedmen, ADOS, or however you choose to identify, Negro, whatever. If you or your lineage is here, from here, has been here, you wanted to be able to say that proudly without other people shitting on us. A lot of times people want to give the Black experience to the negative things, to the ratchet, the ghetto, the hood, you know, all of these negative stereotypes. And then when something positive happens, it's the first Nigerian, the first Haitian. You know, they get to have the accolades that are associated with their prestige and their performance. And then it also gets associated with their culture. For us, we get to be the shithole of the diaspora. And I think a lot of us said, enough is enough. Fuck that. No, y'all need to be who you are, and we're going to be who we are, and everybody needs to check themselves. Well, a lot of good that did, because as it stands inside of the Black or African American category, you know, I guess you could say that you were one thing, but if you wanted to say you were something else, you could do that too. Not a lot of care for the amount of time that people put into making sure that their voice was heard. I think that, you know, if it was really people's goal to make sure that the needle gets moved in the direction that it needs to get moved in, that they're supporting people who are speaking the things that need to be spoken, people who Have the right words. And if you don't have the right words, maybe you reach out to someone who can help you with that. You know what else is in the news? Obviously, everybody wants to talk about Baltimore. I want to talk about Baltimore too. I read this article yesterday. Rescued Key Bridge construction worker couldn't swim. Here's what we know about the recovery effort. Julio Cervantes, one of 8 construction workers who were plunged into the Patapasco River where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed early Tuesday morning, did not know how to swim, according to his wife. It's a miracle he survived, his wife, who did not disclose her name, told NBC News. His wife, who did not disclose her name. What was his name again? Oh, that's right. Julio Cervantes. Julio Cervantes is working on the bridge at 1:30 in the morning. Cervantes and 7 other workers from Mexico and Central America were sitting in their cars taking a break from filling the potholes on the roadway. Is that everywhere? What am I asking? Is that everywhere where you've got Julio Cervantes and other workers from Mexico and Central America sitting around in their cars taking breaks? What do y'all see? Because when I'm driving around here and when we're driving around, a lot of the construction workers look like their names could be Julio or their last name could be Cervantes or that they're from Mexico or Central America. And well, I guess everybody needs to work and everybody's got to eat. Do they got to work here? Do they got to eat here? What are we doing? How are they getting these jobs? What are the qualifications? Where is the paperwork? I swear to God. Maybe this year will be the year that people get to the fact checking. People start doing research. People start making a fuss, the same way that they like to make a fuss about us. I think the funniest example I've ever had was from my sister Marilyn, and she was talking about HR, and she's talking about how, Becky always loves to go to HR about us. Don't get all big and bad at work, because Becky will go to HR and let them know that, Shaquita was being angry and I didn't feel safe. And it's just so threatening. I don't understand. And now you've got a write up because all you did was tell her to mind her business, or all you did was tell her to get back to work. And you've got a slightly higher position than Becky does, and Becky doesn't like that. So any chance she gets, she's going to go to HR and tell on your black ass. Well, in the same breath, if Becky starts talking about being woke, or if I caught the new Beyonce tracker starts trying to use things like lit, I'm gonna talk to Becky like I don't know what she's talking about, right? Because what is she talking about? What's lit, Becky? Is something on fire? Do we need to call for help? Is this a 911? Do we need a wellness check? What's going on, Becky? Are you okay? Are you glitching? Is everything all right at home? I think we should start asking questions like that versus inviting these niggas to the cookout. But as it stands, I guess if it's your cookout and you want to cook for all these people who want to take, then I guess the American dream, you can do that. It's your world. It's a free world where you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as you're ready for the consequences. And on the consequences of inviting any and everybody to the cookout, well, Julio Cervantes was plunged into the Patapasco River because him and other workers were working at 1:30 in the morning in Baltimore, even though they're from Mexico and Central America. Paperwork. Do they have the skills to fill potholes? How much skill do you need to fill a pothole? Does anybody know? I don't know a lot of construction workers, and I think it's because I don't think that that's a job that we have anymore. I think that, a lot of these labor jobs are being passed over us to people who will take less. Why will they take less? Because they're not supposed to be here. And if you're not supposed to be somewhere, then obviously you would take whatever is given to you, right? Because let's face it, if they wanted to treat you like a person who was breaking the law, then I guess they would do that. You would get consequences for your actions, for your illegal activity, the same way that we do, right? And, let's just put this out there. I'm not making light of anybody's death. No, this is not about that. What this is about paperwork. And if you're supposed to be somewhere, well, I think the paperwork should match. And I think like 200 years ago, let's go 1824, didn't you niggas have to have paperwork to walk around? You couldn't walk from one place to another without having something that said that you belonged to somebody or that you didn't belong to somebody. And, fuck your paperwork. You could still get got because that's the system that we live in. But how come they get to be so diligent and research based, and they do all of the questions, they're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's to make sure that we are where we're supposed to be at all times? But these other people, no, they don't get the same strenuous run through the ringer. They don't have to get beaten with all sorts of different verification questions. If they look like them, they get a pass. If they look like us, well, it depends. They might get a pass, because I've heard those stories. I know y'all have heard them too. Stay away from those akatas. Akata. They have a whole fucking slang negative nigga type word for us. And it's not even the nigga with the A, it's with the ER. These niggas have ER word for us. But maybe that's just an issue I have. I'm going to digress on that. Let's get back to the news. In the news, did you hear about Phil Lyman from Utah? Phil's on Twitter, right? A lot of us are on Twitter, so I'm sorry, on X. See, when I say on X, it just sounds like drugs, but maybe that's just because I'm a millennial. And I don't know, olders in the room might not have the same feeling, but I don't know. I'm saying on X, it just sounds like I'm taking drugs. So on Twitter, Phil Lyman, a state representative from Utah, retweeted and commented on a post that focused on the commissioner for the Port of Baltimore, who is a Black woman. Utah lawmaker blames diversity for Baltimore bridge collapse. Let's check it out. This is written on March 27th. Diversity, equity, and inclusion has become such a flashpoint across the country that a politician in Utah, State Representative Phil Lyman, inferred it was the reason a huge container ship plowed into and knocked down the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, leaving 6 people presumed dead. This is what happens when you have governors who prioritize diversity over the well-being and security of citizens, said Lyman, a Republican running for governor, said in a post on X. Lyman's post included a retweet of the Young Conservative Federation, which wrote, "Let's meet the commissioners for the Port of Baltimore, starting with Corinthia A. Barber. She knows nothing about ports, but she is a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging DEIB auditor and consultant," end quote. Okay, that was a lot, right? But essentially, Mr. Lyman has issues with diversity. Well, let's talk about diversity, right? Because it sounded like diversity in Baltimore, right? You got Julio Cervantes. He's one of 8. Let's see about anybody else. Where is it? Here we go. The bodies of Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, 35, a native of Mexico, and Dorlian Roniel Castillo Cabrera, 26, of Guatemala, were recovered Wednesday. I wonder where they're from. It says that family members of the men still missing but presumed dead have not given up hope. "We still have faith until this moment God grant the miracle. It would be beautiful." Martin Suazo, the brother of missing Honduran worker Maynor Yasir Suazo Sandoval, told CNN. "We still have hope. I know that time is our worst enemy." Now check this. Sandoval who had lived and worked in the US for the past 18 years, dreamed of one day retiring in his native Honduras. Did you hear that? Sandoval, who had lived and worked in the US for the past 18 years, dreamed of one day retiring in his native Honduras. Like, I don't know about you, but is the American dream, is that the American dream? You can come over here, work for 18 years. That's like the life of one child support, right? And let's just say you knock up a couple of them in 1 year, and now you've just got, 18 years, 18 years, 18 years got you for 18 years. Kanye. Okay, let me stop. But no, that's one child support life payment cycle. And after that, you can go back home, live your best life, and the American economy continues, goes on, keeps moving. I don't know. Is that where we are? Where the American dream is you can come, take, and not give back? Because how do people who are not supposed to be here document their pay? Because, with us, we taxes, right? Our pay is heavily taxed, or if it's not taxed, you're going to get a bill later for it. And they know where you are and they know how to find you, and don't let them come looking for you, because now you've got jail time. How many Black celebrities are in trouble right now because of their failure to pay them people? I think it's crazy because well, really, I want to say it was Terrence Howard, and I'm not going to look this up real quick, so excuse me if I'm wrong on it. Maybe I'll look it up later. I think it was Terrence Howard who was saying he's not going to pay his taxes because America owes a debt. And a salute to people who are making sure that people know what's owed and that they're putting their foot down about what they're going to do about it. Now, I don't know if you just stop paying your taxes, right? Because, again, they can come get you. But I think that it's apropos that people are speaking up right now. I wanted to see if I could find some other names of some of the workers, but workers in Baltimore. Do y'all know about the workers in Baltimore? Is it just me? I looked it up because I couldn't stand the fact that I didn't know why it was so many people who were not from here. Like, I know what we know. And what we know is that a lot of people who aren't from here, they get these jobs, these labor jobs, these labor intensive jobs. We get told we don't want these jobs. We don't want to work. These niggas is lazy. They don't want to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They don't want to do the hard work. So people who walk thousands of miles, people who sent their children ahead of them on this dangerous journey of measles, mumps, herpes, rape, and murder, they get here and, man, they work so hard to flee. They work so hard to flee, and they don't even want to take a bath when they get here. What is that? And when I say take a bath, I mean a badge. That's a backwards. Did you get that? Was that too corny for you? The plandemic. A lot of y'all got fired for not wanting to take the badge. But here we go. We're in 2024. If you can get here, you don't have to take the badge. You can just mosey on in, right? No, that's fucked up to me. To me, I think that's a little fucked up. And as it stands, if people are going to come here and say, yes, I want the crumbs, guess who loves that type of talk? Did you guess it? It's them people. They don't want to pay anybody. They want to pay themselves, right? And as it stands, you got poor white people. They are already pissed off at the fact that their white ain't paying off the way that it used to. The dollar is not doing what it used to. The math ain't mathin' for a lot of people. And to the point where I've heard white people, Mexicans, Asians, I've heard all sorts of people say the math ain't mathin'. And I know that we take terms and we popularize it and then people take it and abuse it and whatever. But so far, I don't know that you can abuse the math ain't mathin', because if something isn't adding up to you, the math ain't mathin'. And so far, with the fact that they try to jam that shit down our throats. People coming over here in droves, you would think that they would have the same level of care for us, right? Don't they want to keep us safe? Don't they want to keep the American population safe from all of the disease? I'm not a Trump supporter. I swear to God, I'm not a Trump supporter. But damn it, if that, I was about to call him a nigga. Damn it, if Trump wasn't right about some things. And I don't even know if we would call him a broken clock, because they're only right 2 times a day. And some of the things that Trump said has been like, yeah, he right. And shitholes, some of these places are shitholes. And I literally mean, like, if you had to go dig a hole in the backyard and take a shit, coming from a place where I don't know if you have the qualifications to fill the potholes here. And if you do, God damn it, why can't we? There's a lot of poor people in Baltimore who would love the opportunity for a skilled job that pays some decent wages and gives them a little bit of benefit. They don't want to do that. You don't have to give benefits to people who are not supposed to be here. You know, it's like I guess it's like a volunteer slavery position, because you're not getting what you're owed. You're getting less than, but you are getting something. And if you can take it, then maybe that's what they were trying to tell us is indentured servitude. 7 years, you do your job, you might have some shit to deal with while you're dealing it, but if you get through that 7 years, then, the American dream is yours if you look like them. Maybe that's where we are. These people who aren't supposed to be here are doing the indentured servant 2024. Because, the school to prison pipeline, just the prison system in general, prison industrial complex is slavery 2.0, 3.0. So I guess it would only be fitting for it to still have an indentured servitude type of system as well. There's got to be a buffer class. If there's not a buffer class, then guess who is the target? No, it's not you niggas, it's them. We already have a target on us. And when you take the buffer away, it gets real clear how many of us versus how many of them. They don't want you to know that. That's why for the past 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, we've been 1/2 of 1% of the wealth, even though I know that we're doing better than that. But we're only 40 million people strong. But you niggas is making all them babies. Oh no, Evie, they're killing all the babies. Them bitches can't keep their legs closed and they plan B and an abortion shits away. And yeah, that does happen. But as it stands, it's a lot of other women from other communities who are also participating in the same skullduggery. Killing babies is not cool at all. But, your life, the American dream says that you get to do what you want to do. So if you want to kill a baby, well, kill that damn baby. As long as it hasn't crossed the threshold. Because once it gets here, well, no, you kill that baby, you go into jail. There's nuances that they don't want you to pay attention to because they want you to pay attention to other things. I wasn't even really going to go here, so I'm going to just do it real quick. Why is there so much attention on the diddler and not on the schniddler? No, I'm sorry. I don't understand. It's like we do fucked up shit. Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you don't. They do fucked up shit. Get away with it. And then maybe every once in a while, somebody has to be a sacrificial lamb. I don't get that. Other than niggas is distracted. And I guess they're distracted because, the internet, TV, programming, the radio, entertainment. If you're so busy looking at LeBron or looking at Steph Curry because he can shoot a ball, or paying attention to the best entertainer that you think is the best entertainer, or maybe it's Beyonce for you and you're just so happy that she's made country something that you can relate to now, because you used to like country, but the niggas ain't like country, so you can't actually tell nobody you like country. And now that Beyonce is in country, oh yeah, you country, whatever. Not focused. And when you're not focused, some of the stuff will just slip right past you. Check it. The current population of Baltimore, 556,723. And all of the numbers tonight have been sourced from different websites that have population worldview. I'll post it in the description for anybody who wants to go fact check, but this is not Eve making anything up, as much as Eve did do a little bit of homework on the census and Maryland's population and different things that I'm going to talk about tonight, because I want to make it abundantly clear that out of 556,000 people, 95% of those people are citizens. 95% in Baltimore are citizens. But then check this. 8.1% of the population was born outside of the country. Can y'all make that math? Just anybody right now in real time. 95% of the population plus 8% of the population. That's more than 100, right? Or am I retarded? Am I stuck on stupid tonight? Eve doesn't need to be teaching anybody anything, because 95 plus 8 clearly is 100%. I feel like I need to go get one of the minis, because they're really good with this addition thing. But, if I pull up my handy dandy calculator, 95 plus 8 is more than 100. So off rip, the math ain't mathin' with regards to who all is in Baltimore doing what. But let's dive a little bit deeper. In the article, it said that there were approximately 20 construction workers on the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, I already told you about 8 of them, but I wonder about the other 12. Were they from Mexico too? Are these people from Honduras too? Because when I dive more into the population of Baltimore, it said, you guys, it said that non-Hispanic Blacks comprised 56.5% of the total workforce in Baltimore. So that's Black people. It's 56% of the workforce. But let's talk about the construction workers' workforce. According to the information that I'll provide in the description, in 2020, it was 30% were Hispanic in the construction workforce. In Baltimore, it was 27.9%, but we're going to round up to 30 because it's a nice even number for us to work with. I bet you're wondering how many Black people had construction worker jobs. Well, 5.1%. But inside of that number, it said that it was 11.8% of Black people who had the skills and qualifications. So even inside of the small 11.8, okay, we'll round to 10. Even inside of the 10% of niggas who have construction ability, only 5% of those people are working in their field. And then the other side of the equation is that everybody else is white. So again, drive around your city if you want. Check out the construction scenes and see what you see. Take a peek at the people under the hard hats, because I guarantee you, they probably look like Julio or Bob. I find that Bob's walking around with a clipboard and Julio is doing some sort of work. A lot of times he's sitting in his car, smoking a cigarette, eating a sandwich. But sometimes I do see them out there drilling and hammering and, doing the construction thing. I think about Baltimore's demographics because I'm from Maryland. I'm not from Baltimore. We're not going to do that tonight, but I'm from Maryland. And I always thought Baltimore was a Black city. But to find out that in real time, a lot of the people working on the roads and things that need to be fixed are not Black, it's surprising to me. And it's surprising to me because I wonder why nobody finds it to be a problem. I say it's not a problem because if it were a problem, then wouldn't people be trying to fix it? But no, We're people who get stuck on the symptoms and not the problem. Let's take it back. Phil Lyman, remember Phil Lyman, the white guy from Utah? If you look at his Twitter, you can see what he's been talking about. But Phil, he really has an axe to grind with Corinthia Barber. And I don't know if you know who Corinthia Barber is, so I will see if I can show you who I'm talking about. Bear with me, because Eve is one of those older millennials who sometimes can do the computer share things, sometimes can't do the computer share thing. Let's see if it worked. All right, according to mpa.maryland.gov/pages/port-commission.aspx, these are the port commissioners. Top left, Miss Corinthia Barber, Miss Brenda Dandy, M. Scott Webb, Mr. Edward McDonald, Mr. David Richardson, and Mr. Sandy Roberts. Do you see what I see? Okay. I see a Black woman, melanated woman. I see a Black man, melanated man. And then I see a white woman. And then I see 3 white men. That's so diverse, isn't it? Isn't that like the ideal diversity thing? They want you to see like the Black man, the Black woman, a white woman. You know, sometimes they do like the Asian or Hispanic, and then everybody else is a white guy. This is like their ideal diversity setting. This is DEI right here, you guys, right? Or at least according to Phil Lyman. Phil Lyman wants us to talk about DEI. He says that because Miss Corinthia Barber knows nothing about ports, she should not have anything to do with what's going on in Baltimore. But my issue was the diversity on the bridge. You know, I can't keep blaming people who are working in the roles that they signed up for. No, I think it's a little bit bigger than that. I think the systems that allow these things to happen, I think that's something that we should pay attention to. I think that is where the focus should be. The problem, the illness, not the symptoms. You know, if you're people who focus on the symptoms, then, you know, you'll take an Advil for a headache, you'll take another Advil for a headache, you'll take a Tylenol, you'll take a Motrin, you'll take an Excedrin, you'll take an Advil, you'll take a Tylenol, you'll take an Excedrin, you'll take a Motrin, and then kidney failure. Because you aren't actually addressing the reason for why you have a headache as much as you have a headache. And that Tylenol, Advil, Motrin, Excedrin combination did something at some point for you. Well, I guess there's that way. I think the easier way and the harder way is to really try to figure out why it's happening. And then let's see if there's a solution from there. Is this something that we can do about this? Most of the time, our headaches are coming from, you know, really simple things. You need to eat, drink some water, get some rest. Super simple. But no, you don't want to eat right now because you're working. You don't want to drink water right now because you're one of them niggas who don't drink water, which is a whole other conversation. And maybe me and my sister Taisha will talk on that in one form or another. Shout out to you guys in the chat, and I appreciate y'all for being here. And I see some people have some words. I'm gonna hit those in a moment. But as far as making things make sense, if you got a headache, address the problem. Don't just focus on the symptom, because you might kill yourself. But, you know, self-inflicted wounds, I'm trying to tell you, self-inflicted wounds like a paper cut or hitting your funny bone is not funny. But, you know, you'll do it over and over again if you never know how to adjust or move the right way, or, you know, pay attention to your surroundings. In Maryland, the port commissioners, they all have different levels of expertise. I find that Corinthia was an easier target because she doesn't have the background that Mr. Roberts has. No, he's a lawyer. You know, you can't really fuck with a lawyer. Not really. I mean, you can, but not really. Miss Corinthia kind of threw herself out there because, well, as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, you know, you've aligned yourself with people who don't necessarily pick things that they have any interest in as much as they want to be a face of First Black first. No, sorry. Miss Corinthia served as the first woman chair of the Board of Trustees of Maryland Automobile Insurance. There it is, first woman. She was also recognized as one of the top 100 women in Maryland. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed about, but I do think that once you start making these first Black, first woman things part of your repertoire, well, maybe other people see that too. And then maybe they put you in a position that you probably shouldn't be in. And maybe you are the diversity pick. Maybe you were the diversity hire, but you didn't give a shit because you said, hey, I made it. I'm the first woman. I'm the first Black. But then you couldn't do anything. What's the point of being the first if you can't do anything? Now, you know, Ms. Barber is highly regarded as a consultant, strategist, and speaker. She's the founder of and CEO of Professional Development Associates, LLC. But again, when you throw yourself out there as a diversity, equity, and inclusion person, that's like an easy target for them people because they don't want to give you credit. No, niggas, you don't have the skill. We know this because you're lazy. We know you're lazy because y'all don't ever show up on time. You don't like to do the fucking job. You want to take an hour lunch break. No, you niggas don't deserve these jobs. But, you know, we got to give it to you sometimes because if we don't, then there would be a system of unrest because it'd be too many niggas who have issues and we can't deal with that type of revolution. No, we've got to make it seem like if you do what you're supposed to do, then eventually you'll get something that makes sense. It's a tale as old as time, isn't it? Do good now, for heaven awaits you later. Nah, fuck all that. I'm of the heaven now, and since heaven's not now, then I think we should probably make it make sense. Let's make the math, and if everybody is living like me, then maybe things will change a little bit faster. I saw this during the pandemic. Black people who have always lived without or lived with less, living every day the same. You know, maybe you couldn't go places that you used to go to because they were closed. Fine. All right. But essentially, life was the same. But for these other people, did you see? I saw people jumping out of windows. I saw people taking their whole families out. I saw all sorts of depression, drug abuse, and abuse of each other in ways that the news couldn't help but report. And you know that grinded their gears. They hated having to highlight the fuckery of their community. But it was happening in mass. And you can't ignore it. You can't say that you're the news and ignore the news. Because if you do that, well, then people start to ask questions. What kind of news isn't reporting the news? Well, I know what kind of news doesn't report the news. And I guess that might be a conversation for another day. But as it stands, New Black Media Appreciation Month is right around the corner. And I have some words about the news. But you'll have to tune in to see about those words. I'm gonna take a beat here and check out the chat. Again, to the people here listening live, and if you check it out recorded, that's cool as shit. And I think that your support really is moving things in a way that I don't know that you're paying attention to the needle. You know, then people are never going to tell us that we're winning. You're going to have to know that things are changing. You're going to have to pay attention to things that are changing. And if you're not paying attention to it, well, people will continue to tell you that reparations are not feasible. Eve, y'all are not going to get reparations in your lifetime. No. And how greedy. There's so many people. Their rights are being trampled on every day. The United States does not give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about anybody. No, Eve, you need to accept the fact that, you're not in chains anymore and that you can go get a job and pay taxes and not make a wage that makes sense and work for 50 years for somebody who does not like you and then die. And then your kids get to do the same thing. And then their kids get to do the same thing. The fuck? No, let's jump off the hamster wheel because cut the check. Why? It's owed. And to anybody saying that I can't say things like cut the check and black first, how about you? Did you get that? How about you? Okay, no, really. How about black first? Because I'm here for that. The work doesn't stop. And as it stands tonight on this Good Friday, the work was to report the news because let's face it, some people are more concerned about other people's relationships. And some people are more concerned about what's going on in pop culture. And as a Black person from Maryland, I was concerned about the bridge. And as happy as I am that I can't say that any of the victims of the tragedy look like me, that's only a silver lining in a fucked up scope, because we used to have all of the skills. We used to have the labor jobs. We used to be the ones that they had to call on because they didn't want to do that shit. And now, well, now people can come here from places where they had to dig a hole in the backyard and take a shit, and they can now fill the potholes in the streets that we drive every day. See, Taisha said that there's a book called Being the Only Black in the Office. That sounds like a book that talks about code switching, and I wonder if that book talks about that. Shout out to Taisha. She's a Black woman, a Black wife, a Black mother here who puts in the work. And I think we're going to be live tomorrow, so maybe you should check that out and tune in to her channel, my channel, hit the bell so that you can stay on point. Let's talk about this comment. That's a fact, Jack. Aren't you the one who was with Jason Black? Yeah, that nigga's name is Jeremy. He's a character for sure. You know a character when they're using Mr. Penis Pants as their avatar and Shadow Self. That's a character. But I digress on that. Peace, Yoshi. Thank you for being here. Yoshi Mod. Check his channel out. He's in the chat, so I guess click on his name and hit the bell because he's got fire bops. I love his brain and his creativity and how much work he does for the community. He helps me. He helps Dr. Winters. He helps himself. So many projects from the little people that I think would help move the needle if you guys knew that they were out there. Peace all the way free and Dojo of Manhood. Bad business. You know what's bad business? Bad business is niggas who don't know how to keep their damn mouth shut, right? Not knowing how to keep your mouth shut as a dude, that's bad business. Because I feel like that's a bitch move, right? I feel like women, and y'all can be mad at me if you want, this is facts. We talk a lot, right? But then have you ever met a nigga who talks a lot too? Isn't it like a competition? And then why are you talking so much? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I thought you're supposed to be leading, working, doing something with your hands. Aren't you building? Oh, no, you're not building because you don't have the ability to get these skilled labor jobs anymore. No, you have resulted to streaming online because the Mexicans, Hondurans, and other people who don't have the qualifications have taken your job. So I guess I get it. If you're a person who has to exist online because the job that you wanted to do isn't available for you, well, maybe you would want to talk about it online. Maybe you would want to scream about it from the mountaintops, but actually, I don't actually hear that. No, I hear something else. Well, I don't know what y'all hear. Yeah, that's a fact, Jack. He is live right now. And let me tell you about being live right now. Friday night is a night that normally he's focused on other people's relationships. So maybe the tide has turned. Maybe that full moon that happened the other night kind of made things glitch. And he's focused on the work. I think that would be wonderful for our community because as it stands, people keep telling me, Eve, you're going to fuck up the movement. You can't fuck up the movement. No. Bad business fucks up the movement. You know, people who do the whole all niggas ain't shit because of one ain't shit nigga. That's bad business. That's bad business. And that's a fact. I don't his trucking job. It's so funny that you guys give this man so many attributes and accolades and skills and qualifications. I dare you to find the program that he said that he was a trucker. But I guarantee you it was more along the lines of you heard that he drives across the country and he knows so much about the trucking industry that you thought he was a trucker. Nah, I don't know that he was a trucker. Maybe he used to be back in the day. No, I know he's a person who exists behind a screen for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then when he's not there, he is behind the wheel. So, you know. Yeah, Dojo, I'm gonna fuck up the movement because flame on a nigga who tried to run game on a nigga. No, that's shame on a nigga. Okay, no. I think that respecting yourself means that if someone tries to wrong you, that you would do something about it. I find that where we are right now in 2024, a lot of people aren't who they say they are. You know, we're existing in the internet age. We're existing in an age where you don't have to be you. You can take a picture of yourself with a green screen in the background and say that you made it. Moving on up and shit. Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fake it. And you don't have to fake it to kick it. At least not over here. I'd actually prefer that you didn't fake it to kick it because it's heavy. It's heavy carrying people who don't carry their weight. And that is what they try to tell us all the time. They tell us, niggas in America, that you're not wanting to work. You're not wanting to carry your load. You want to get assistance from the government. You want them checks from the government to get them blocks of cheese and live in housing that doesn't make sense for all your babies that you're not taking care of, but also killing in the same breath. No. These other people, they fled. They fled so fast that the shoes on their feet don't have scuff marks on them. Have y'all seen them pictures? Some of these people are showing up in brand new gear. And I'm trying to figure out where the math is mathing, because how did you walk 1,000 miles but you look clean? I don't know. I do know that I heard people saying that there were bags of clothes on the side, like 50 miles away from the checkpoint, and they were all like vote for Biden and Harris t-shirts. Because the photo op, man, the photo op. Let's talk about photo ops. That's a fact, Jack. You want to know what he's like in real life? He's like a person who doesn't pull up to the events that he takes pictures of. No, he's a person who will use the stick of fence minions and real people who are doing real work. Real people who showed up in DC with snipers on the roofs, taking pictures to send to him so that he could tell people that he was there because he's a coward. That's what he's like in real life, a coward. But let's go here. What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4 Just Us. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first. It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube. I didn't mean to play that 2 times. But yeah, follow me on YouTube. That's here, right here. Follow me here. Hit the bell if you wanted to, because sometimes y'all try to say that you didn't know I was live, but maybe it's because you didn't hit the bell. So maybe do that now. Make sure your notifications are set to all, because that's the only way that YouTube will let you know that I'm live. Also, let me just caveat this. I am shadow banned at my very minimum 500 subscribers. I'm shadow banned. And I find that amazing because people with 154,000 people in the audience are also shadow banned, but I don't see them having the same type of fight. That might be why he doesn't show his face. That's a fact check, because of the shadow ban. No, that nigga just exists in the shadows. That's why he doesn't show his face. But let's get back to the news. In the news. Sorry. Baltimore mayor. Y'all know Brandon Scott. So everybody's talking about this DEI thing, right? From Utah to, just random Joe Blows on Twitter. They want to blame these little peon niggas. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, he says that he is not the diversity hire. No, because he was elected as mayor. So how can you be the diversity hire if you were elected? I digress on that. We can't actually win anything fair, because if we won it fair and that meant that it wasn't fair for them, they would like to get a leg up. But then if we need assistance in any form or fashion, it's not fair. Nothing is fair. That's the system. And as soon as you niggas get that, faster we will get to where we're supposed to be. They're not playing by the same rules that we're holding each other's standard to. And I think with that in mind, it's a lot of confused things going on. People thinking that the messenger and the message don't have to match. And I think that's moronic. I think it's moronic because if a person is telling you to eat 3 times a day, sleep 8 hours a day because of all of these benefits, they're telling you to take these supplements, they're telling you to read these books because your life will turn out this way, then I think that you would be like, all right, yeah, if you're saying that, then there's got to be some evidence of, right? Right? Well, I don't know. I guess it's up to you, because that's how people move. People will say something really good and then expect other people to do it. And then, that's the beauty. And then call me back. Because you can tell me if you did what I said. And then if you did what I said and it worked for you, then yeah, I did that. I am the reason that you got to where you were going to get to. But if you call me back and it didn't work out, well, I promise you it's not because of me, but it's because of you. User errors abound. You didn't do something right, or you're a single mother, or you're a weed head, or you've got tattoos, or you've got degrees as a woman, or you're old, or you're fat, or it's a lot of ors, right? Like, if there's a blanket statement, then there should be another blanket statement. But no, there's nuances that nobody wants to pay attention to except for the special people in the room. Shout out to the special people in the room. The nuances matter, you guys. And inside of those nuances, you've got niggas who get in trouble for the things that they kind of fell into. For example, what do you know about sanctuary cities? Well, I know that if my city ever tried to turn into a sanctuary city, that might get my booty to the pole. I'm not even going to cap on this app. I swear to God, if this city had a decision between, sanctuary city and not, my ass would be there fast, because no, you're not about to take more away from us. But as it stands, all the way back to 2010, when Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake declared that the city was welcoming immigrants. That's Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. She did that 14 years ago. 14 years ago. Man, timely. 14 years ago, something else happened, but I'm going to pause on that because maybe you guys need some more context. But the current mayor, Mayor Brandon, he kind of inherited this problem, this Baltimore sanctuary city problem. And I don't think it's fair per se to blame someone who inherited a problem, as much as I think that if you inherit a problem, it is on you to fix it, unless you don't think it's a problem. And that's where we are. We're in a time where people are saying that this is not really a problem, not for me. Now, it might be a problem for you, but if it's a problem for you, then you need to do something about it. If it's not a problem for you, then don't do anything. Ignore it. And that's where we are. People who are complaining about things, but not doing anything about it. So the math ain't mathin'. And for what it's worth, if you're not going to do, then your complaint is null and void. You've canceled yourself out. You've yelled into the ether. You stood at the top of the mountaintop, and you're going to say it one more time, and you're not going to stop. Shout out to Michael. Nah, you got it out, right? Did you feel better? Because maybe that's all you needed. It was cathartic. You needed to scream it. And now everything is better. But, if you're like me, just bitching about something when you have an opportunity to fix it, that makes me feel better. That makes me happy. I talked with Mr. Ron Friedman, the creator of Transformers, and we talked about happiness. And happiness is when you exist excellently, doing what you're supposed to do, according to ancient Greek philosophy. And I think that a lot of us are not happy here in 2024, even with your job, even with your family and house and such, because you know that you can get got when you walk out your door. Hell, you can get got if you don't walk out your door. It's a lot of people who've been served no-knock warrants and aren't here to tell the tale. But if you don't do anything about it, then I guess you can just become a hashtag. And you know what they say about hashtags? Well, I don't know if you know what they say about hashtags, but they can't say anything for themselves. Why? Because they're dead. And like I said, this is not me disparaging people who are not here anymore, as much as I don't know if y'all give a damn. And if you don't give a damn about the dead, then what are we doing here? Why are we having conversations about what people are doing to us if you don't want to stop them from doing it to us? But right now, 2024, the borders are open. The cities are ripe for ransacking and usurpers and invaders. And not the nice kind, not the kind with the Bible, like back in the day. The invaders came with Bibles and crosses, and they said, "Hey, you little niggers in the bushes, come follow me, because white Jesus loves you, but only if you do what we're telling you to do." Those were the nice ones, right? They didn't try to rape your little boys until later. No, I'm talking about the ones who are coming with measles and mumps and all sorts of diseases and bad behavior, bad hygiene, and bad practices. That's not all. But if we were going to talk about all, I guess I would want to talk about the people who tried to do it the right way. There's a whole fucking list of people waiting their turn because they did it the way that the paper said that you had to do it. And then there's people who said, "Fuck that, I'm coming now." And they're getting asylum. They're getting funds. In New York, they're getting debit cards. Straight up money, cash money. You're not supposed to be here. Here's some money for you. What? I think we spend like $300 every other day at the grocery store. Okay, we do have a big family, but I'm saying that's ludicrous. They're not giving us no money. They could say, blacks can get $1,000 a month in groceries indefinitely for perpetuity and for the rest of their lives. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of little shit that they could do for us and not actually pay reparations as much as it would be all these government programs. But, government programs are only available for the niggas who have given up. Essentially, you kind of have to say, yeah, I don't want to fight. I don't want to work. Just kind of want to live, kind of want to chill. I don't want to be responsible, and help me. So you got food stamps, you got WIC when you're pregnant, you got Medicaid when you're younger, and Medicare if you ever work a job and pay into it. When you get older, you can use that. But Section 8 housing for living, and outside of that, they got Obama phones. Actually, I don't know. Do they still got Obama phones? Because it's not Obama in office anymore. Is it Biden phones? Can I do that? Well, Biden said you ain't black if you don't vote for him, but he also said he was ready to go to bed. I think we should let that nigga go to bed, right? Let's let Joe Biden go to bed. Let's let him do something else. March 29, 2024, Baltimore and diversity. And it's strange. I never thought that a city that I grew up next to would be known for the people who aren't from here. That there would be so much time given to people who broke the law to take from us, to steal from us. And we're supposed to like it. Sometimes I have conversations with ChatGPT just to kind of see if AI gets it. And a lot of times, even AI gets it. And when I say even AI gets it, it's very simple. You got people who focus on the symptoms and not the problems because it's easier. Like we talked about the headache earlier. Women, when it's your moon cycle, when it's your time, maybe you have like a chocolate craving. Have you ever experienced that? Like a hunger pain when it's that time? I guarantee you it's a mineral deficiency. But you don't know enough about the foods that you eat to even say that this is something that I need to eat more of. No, you'll go for the immediate fix, which would be chocolate, because that's what your brain's thinking of. But your brain's not telling you that it's not the chocolate as much as it's what's inside of the chocolate. The caffeine, antioxidants, other things that might make you feel good when you think you're feeling low, the sugar. And I don't know if chocolate's the best fix for that as much as you might feel good right now. Fast food's the same way. You're hungry right now. Let me fix it. Okay, and you keep doing that for your whole life, and you'll die with fat on your arteries and not being able to breathe good. And okay, I know, Eve. Not all. I did see the woman who said she smoked a cigarette every day and drank a shot of whiskey every day and she lived to be 100. And I've also seen the videos of the vegans who have also lived to be 100. It doesn't seem like there's any one way, but I do know that one way to make sure that we don't get stuck on stupid is that we focus on the problem and not the symptoms. When we focus on the problem and not the symptoms, we can kind of make an impact that makes sense. But it's complex and it will take effort. The Band-Aid solutions that people are used to, it's going to get very uncomfortable. If you put a Band-Aid on your tire, it's not going to stop the air from coming out of your tire. As much as Fix-A-Flat works sometimes, but that's not a permanent fix. It's just something for now to get you from point A to point B. But damn it, if we're not a people who've been able to live with less and do so much, so that Fix-A-Flat might actually last you some months before you can get a new tire. That's us, being able to do what it do with less. If you don't confront these things with honesty, you're never going to get to the awareness that you need to come to a solution. You got short-term things and long-term things. And I think short-term, with diversity and inclusion, look outside. Where do you live? Who are you around? Is it diverse? Do they look like you? Do they not look like you? Was it a choice that you made, or was it a choice that was forced on you? And Black people in America, it's past time to be making our own decisions. Take your power back and make some decisions yourself. Just know that other people are going to be looking at you like you the crazy nigga in the room, because it's way easier to let somebody do it for you. But maybe curiosity killed the cat, and curious niggas who ask questions get got, and maybe y'all are afraid. But I think that if you step out of the shadows, it's nothing to be afraid about, because like I said, you already wearing a target, and they knew you before you knew that they were out there. And today, at least on this Good Friday, I would like you guys to remember that while America is the land of the free, the American dream doesn't include you blacks. Not yet. But it can, if you make it. So, today the invaders are coming in with Biden's Kamala shirts, backpacks, cell phones, and wire cutters. Not the wire cutters. Yeah, the government is giving them water bottles upon entry from our tax dollars. That's real, all the way free. That's fucking real. And you niggas allowed it. You said, get your booty to the poll, Eve. And I said, no tangibles, no vote. And you said, if you don't vote, you're gonna die. And I said, you only die once. Black first.